guys, let's go ahead and jump into our lesson for Thursday, February 4th. We're going to talk about the New England Colonies specifically today. So let's just talk about some characteristics of those colonies. Remember, the Pilgrims are the first people to colonize America, okay, technically. The New England colonies were mainly established to gain religious freedom from England at first. Remember, we talked Tuesday, about how King Henry VIII in England had left the Catholic Church and he'd started his own church, the Church of England, and he forced all of the English to be part of his church, but it was a very corrupt church. So the people in England were kind of getting tired of that, and they wanted to have some religious freedom. So a lot of people came to the New World to colonize. The Pilgrims were led by William Bradford, and they established the Plymouth colony in 1620. We've heard about the Mayflower and how they landed on Plymouth Rock. Okay, the Pilgrims did struggle with a very harsh winter at first. About half of them died, which is not something I knew. I can't believe that many of them died. The Wampanoag tribe was very kind and actually showed the Pilgrims the best places to hunt and fish and how to grow crops and things. By that fall, they did have that first Thanksgiving where they had a feast. They played games, they sang, they danced. They ate deer, duck, lobster even, cornbread, pumpkins, squash, berries, and wild plums, so not that traditional Thanksgiving. While they did get along, then things weren't always so great after this, okay? We also had another group called the Puritans in the year 1630. The Puritans, under the leadership of John Winthrop, immigrated to New England. They were also searching for that religious freedom, okay? They believed that the Church of England was corrupt, just like many of the English did. They settled on a peninsula in what was called Massachusetts Bay, and they called their town Boston. Obviously, that is still one of the largest towns, cities in the U.S. To this day. They called their colony the Massachusetts Bay Colony for a while, okay? The Massachusetts Bay Colony, it grew rapidly. People just kept coming there. It was getting bigger. They thrived because they had a huge fishing market and fur trading and shipbuilding market. So by the year 1634, so only 4 years after they came over, it became the largest city in the English colonies, okay? Next, we have New Hampshire. The New Hampshire Colony was established in 1630 by John Mason. It was created for those individuals who were feeling kind of constricted in England, whether they be poor or whether they felt religiously not free. Okay. Next, we have Rhode Island in the year 1636. That colony was started by Roger Williams. Again, they were searching for religious freedom as well. Okay. And then our final New England colony would be Connecticut. In the year 1636, the Connecticut colony was established by a man named Thomas Hooker. It was created for people looking for economic and religious freedom. At the time, guys, in England, not only was there a corrupt church and a corrupt king, but a lot of people were starving and they were very poor at the time. So they wanted to come here for new opportunities. Okay, let's talk about the structure of the colonial towns, though. Each family that came over here, they would own land, they would claim it, they would live on it, they would build a house and a farm so then they could kind of continue living there and provide for themselves. There was something in the center of the town called the meeting house, okay? They used it for religious services and also town meetings. There was also an area called commons usually where animals grazed, okay? So kind of like an open area. They also built houses and shops and a school, okay? We're all in the area of the commons usually. Education was very important to our colonial people. People wanted children to read the Bible, so they had to learn how to read, okay? And because they wanted to understand the laws of community. The first public school was actually built in the colonies 5 years after the Puritans came here in 1635. Farms were just outside of town normally. Farmers worked very hard to learn how to grow, and during the growing season, cold winters were hard because they didn't have a lot of food, okay, guys? They didn't realize how cold the winters would be, and they had to adjust to that. Farmers planted a lot of crops like rye, corn, pumpkin, squash, beans, peas, carrots, turnips, okay? Because wheat wouldn't grow in New England. It was too cold. They also raised a lot of animals, sheep, pigs, cows, and chickens, okay? The towns that were really well off were the ones on the coast, okay? Some people lived on the coast and they made their living by fishing or even whaling or shipbuilding. Those were those main industries there. Whalers hunted whales because they wanted to use parts of their body as oil, and then everyone used that in lamps, okay? As the whaling business flourished, whalers went farther out into the ocean, so they built bigger ships and stronger ships. And that really increased the need for more ships to be built at the time, okay? That is it for our lesson today. Please go ahead and complete your show it in buds. If you have any questions, please let me know.